All right, let's dive into this. We're tackling the ruddy duck today.
A fascinating bird.
Yeah, the research you put together on this one, it's amazing. Really gives us a lot to dig into. I mean, they're these incredible divers, but then on land, well, let's just say they're not winning any races.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It really shows how they've evolved to be masters of their watery world.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Okay, so first off, can we just talk about how these ducks look? I mean, picture this. A chestnut-red body, jet black head, white patch on the cheek,
Mm,
super stylish.
right.
But then there's the tail.
Oh, yes, the tail. You can't miss that tail, can you? The males, they've got this stiff, spiky tail that they hold straight up, like a little flag. Nothing subtle about it.
No, not at all. It almost seems like, well, wouldn't it be better to have a sleek tail, for swimming and all?
Well, evolution doesn't always play by our rules, right? That stiff
Ah,
tail. It's actually key to their courtship rituals. The males, they use it to show off, signal to the females how strong and healthy they are.
so it's about attracting a mate.
Gotcha. Well, speaking of showing off, these ducks are incredible divers. It's like they're underwater acrobats.
They are. And it all comes down to their body shape. They're streamlined, built for moving through water. And their legs. Powerful, set way back on the body. Perfect for diving.
Yeah, those legs, they really let them zip around down there, snagging all sorts of food, plants, bugs, little crustaceans. Nothing is safe.
Nope, nothing is safe from a hungry ruddy duck.
But then they come up on land, and it's a different story.
Oh, yeah. It's like watching, well, I wouldn't want to insult them, but that leg placement that makes them such great swimmers, it makes walking a bit of a waddle.
A bit of a waddle, that's putting it mildly.
Yeah.
It's funny to watch, but it's a good reminder that evolution's all about trade-offs, isn't it? You gain something here, you lose something there.
Absolutely. And for the ruddy duck, being a top-notch swimmer clearly takes priority.
Okay, so we've talked about looks, we've talked about movement. What about sounds? What kind of noises do these ducks make? Is it the classic quack quack? Not quite. They're actually pretty quiet birds overall. But the males, they've got this interesting trick during courtship. They make these clicking sounds.
Clicking. That's not what I expected. Is that like a special way to get the female's attention?
Well, we can't be sure. But it's possible that the clicks travel better underwater, cut through all the other noise down there. And of course, they add the visual display too, swimming around, flashing that tail, stretching out their necks.
So the whole performance.
Yeah.
Well, this has all been pretty charming so far, but there's a less charming side to these ducks that we need to discuss.
They've become a bit of a problem in Europe, right? Invasive species and all that.
Unfortunately, yes, they were introduced there back in the 1940s, and it's turned out to be, well, disruptive to the native ecosystem. They compete with other ducks for food and space, but the bigger concern is that they interbreed with the white-headed duck.
The white-headed duck, and that's a problem because the white-headed duck is endangered. And when these two species breed, their offspring end up with mixed genes. It dilutes the white-headed duck's unique genetic makeup, making them less adaptable, less likely to survive in the long run.
It's a tough situation.
Hmm.
It makes you realize how interconnected everything is, how even seemingly small actions can have these ripple effects. So what's being done to help the white-headed duck?
Well, conservationists are working hard, protecting habitats, creating safe nesting areas. In some cases, they even have to control the ruddy duck population, trying to keep them from breeding with the white-headed ducks.
So it's a complex problem, a lot of moving parts. It's amazing, with the ruddy duck, we've gone from these stylish looks and amazing diving skills to this serious issue of conservation.
It is. It really highlights how important it is to understand the whole picture, to think about the potential consequences before introducing a species into a new environment.
Definitely, definitely. And I think that's a good note to end on. Thinking about those consequences, thinking about how we can learn from what's happened with the ruddy duck. It's a fascinating story, but it's also a cautionary tale.
Exactly. We need to keep asking ourselves, how can we prevent this from happening again? How can we protect biodiversity and make sure our actions are helping, not hurting?
Big questions, but important ones. Food for thought for everyone listening. And thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
My pleasure. Until next time.